Yeah.
Hi. I just washed my hands, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm Charlotte Miller. I'm the graduate student that's going to be working with you today. So can you tell me what your name is and a little bit about yourself?
My name is Rhonda McDaniel. I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse for 37 years. 2 daughters, 1 grandchild, 2 grandchildren on the way.
Very exciting. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So what brings you in today?
Acid reflux.
Okay. Thank you for sharing all the information with me. It's nice to meet you, and I look forward to getting to work with you today. So as your graduate student, I'm going to be asking you some questions about your acid reflux and how it is affecting your daily living routines, and just for an understanding of how I can better help. So before we get started, do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I am going to be reading and writing some notes just to make sure I get all the details correct for later report writing. So I might have to take some notes and look down. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. So I do have some additional questions for clarity. So you mentioned that you have acid reflux. What can you tell me more about with these concerns?
I was diagnosed with acid reflux about 11, 12 years ago. I've been taking medication for like 12 years. There's side effects with the medication that the physicians made me aware. I take PPIs. Side effects can be cardiac related. But if I do not take the medication, I continually belch all the time. I tried taking myself off of it, but you're only to take this medication short term, like 3 months is the longest, and I've been taking medication for like 12 years. And concerned about heart health because I have went through menopause. And there are side effects with the medication, cardiac wise. And there's just no other medications that I believe that I can take.
Okay, so what you're saying is you were diagnosed with acid reflux about 12 years ago. You've been taking what's supposed to be a short-term med for 12 years now. And you have, if you don't take your medication, it causes you to belch. You have concerns with the cardiac issues, especially since you've went through menopause. And there's no other medications that you can take. Is there anything that I'm missing?
I don't believe so.
What is the name of the medication that you're on?
Protonics, 40 milligrams 2 day. Don't mind if I take a drink?
Okay. So you take the medication, is it one time a day?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me how your acid reflux concerns that brought you here today are affecting your daily living routines.
Daily living routines, how it's affecting my daily living. I have to make sure that I take the medicine every day. I have to be careful about what I eat. And it's embarrassing if you're out in public and you're belching. Very much so.
So what kind of foods do you have to avoid?
Shouldn't actually be drinking soda, high acid foods. I'm supposed to eat 6 small meals a day, which I've not had success with it. I'm only been eating still 3 meals a day, large meals. I'm supposed to do 6 small meals a day. I can't do it. I tried.
Okay, and I'm sure that's frustrating. All right, so what I hear you saying is, you gotta take the medication every day. You have to watch what you eat. You're supposed to avoid soda, high acid foods. You're supposed to be eating the 6 small meals a day, but that hasn't been very successful for you. Still doing the 3 meals a day. And you're just concerned about being in public. If you don't have the food, you don't take the medication, how you're belching. Does that all sound correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so what can you tell me about what happens when you don't take the medication?
I belch continually, nonstop. I belch, even taking the medication. I belch when I eat too much. I belch when I'm hungry and have not eaten. That's, I have to keep up with the medication if I know belching.
Okay. All right. So what can you tell me about when you do have the soda and the high acid foods? Is that when you have those, does it make it worse than when you don't? Or how does
Yes,
that?
sometimes you actually have chest pain with it. I can actually tell usually when it is the acid reflux, because I have chest pain, belching. Sometimes too, if I eat too much, I belch and then I may get nauseated. So
Yeah, I'm sure that's very frustrating. Thank you for sharing all that with me. So tell me about how your acid reflux affects your family time and your time in public, if it does at all.
how do you repeat that question? I'm
Yes.
sorry.
How does your acid reflux affect you during family time or when you're out in public?
Just what I told you previously.
Okay. Okay, so what I hear you saying is when you don't take the medication, you belch nonstop. You belch when you take the meds anyways, when you eat too much and when you haven't eaten. So
Correct.
it's consistent.
Correct. And sometimes I think it is anxiety related, which I have told the doctor about that. I'd ask about even the surgery possibly for it, and he said the thing is you run a risk with surgery of like infection, and he said it may not work. He doesn't recommend surgery.
Okay, how long ago was that he said that?
Probably about 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, approximately.
Okay. So to clarify, what can you mentioned PPIs earlier. What can you tell me more about that, just so I have a better understanding of what's happening?
Protein. It's called pump inhibitor. It prevents the acid from coming up. It and it also like tries to like do away with the acid.
All right, so I'm just going to summarize some of the things that we've discussed. Feel free to jump in to add, correct, or elaborate on anything. So you were diagnosed with acid reflux about 12 years ago. You've been on the meds that are supposed to be short-term for the 12 years. You're concerned with the cardiac issues since you went through menopause. When you don't take the medicine, you belch. There are no other medications available at this time that you're aware of. You take Protonix 1 time a day, 40 milligrams. You just have to take the medicine every day. You have to watch what you eat. It can be embarrassing when you're out in public and you're belching. You have to watch. You're not supposed to be drinking the soda or high acid foods. You've been eating 3 meals a day instead of the 6 meals a day. And you said you just belch nonstop when you're taking the meds, if you eat too much or if you haven't eaten.
Well, I belch nonstop when I do not take the medication.
Okay.
I mean, I still belch when I take it, but not nearly as much.
Okay. All right, I'll correct that. So you belch nonstop when you don't take the meds,
Correct.
but when you are on the meds, you still belch if you ate too much or if you haven't eaten.
Correct.
So if you have the soda or the high acid foods, it can cause chest pain, the belching, it can lead to nausea.
Yes.
And you have raised concerns to your doctor that it could be anxiety related, and you have discussed surgery about 3 years ago,
Well,
but it's risky.
to interject, the anxiety that I belch sometimes when I'm anxious over something. I can't say anxiety is making me do all this belch. That's not so.
Okay.
But I have episodes when I'm anxious that I do belch.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So can you tell the difference when you're anxious and you're belching versus when it's the acid reflux?
No, it's the same.
Okay. All right. So we've clarified on the anxiety and the belching nonstop is when you're on your meds. So does everything else sound correct and
Yes.
accurate? Okay. So tell me what your goals are for yourself regarding your concerns about your acid reflux that brought you here today.
I would love to not have to take medication anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that's, unless something new on the horizon, I don't see that happen.
All right. So based on what we've talked about today, we will further discuss the results, just how to address your concerns. Did you have any questions or anything, any other concerns or anything?
I mean,
Okay. Well, thank you for working with me today.
you're very welcome.